Hello, today we're going to look at human proportion. In the past, we've followed in the footsteps of other famous artists and looked at how proportion affects the face. For instance, we've investigated what is true about all human faces. For instance, our eyes being in the middle of our heads, or there being the width of one eye between our two eyes. In the course of studying this, we were able to create more proportionate faces ourselves in doing our self-portraits. Our next goal is to investigate some proportion truths about the human figure. For instance, in this Da Vinci drawing called the Vitruvian Man, it might just look like a man inside a square inside a circle, but really he's talking about proportion in the sense that our height is the same as our wingspan. If you were to stretch out your arms, the distance between your fingertips is the same as the distance between your head and your toes. A good way for us to explore proportion is by drawing using our drawing mannequins. A lot of artists use drawing mannequins to create different poses, and then after they get the pose right, they'll go ahead and draw over that person whatever kind of character they intended to draw, and helps artists to create poses that they might otherwise struggle to draw. And as you can see, it also helps create unique scenes where characters can interact. A lot of comic book artists use these. We'll get to making fun poses with our drawing mannequins later. What I want us to look at right now is how simple it can be to create a proportionate figure. If you notice the ruler to the left, you will see that the figure is about 12 inches tall. So from the top of the head to the bottom of the feet is 12 inches. What's interesting is at the 6-inch mark, which is half of 12 right here, you'll notice that that is where the legs begin. So what we can say about this figure is half of the figure is legs. So that means if you are drawing a picture and you mark out where the feet are and mark out where the legs are, you could fold your paper in half, and wherever the crease is in the paper, you'll know that your legs will need to begin and your body will need to end. Another observation that we can make about the legs is if you look here from 6 to 12, let's count off the inches: 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches. Right in the middle, right here, that's where the knees hit. So it looks like we can count on the halfway mark of the legs being at the knees. If you take a ruler and measure the arms, you'll notice the same is true with the elbows. When you're constructing your figure, you can actually take a ruler and find out if your elbows are hitting in the right place or if your knees are hitting in the right place. Other observations we can make, again, we've got 6 inches from the head down to the legs. The torso, this middle area here, is about 2 inches. The chest and shoulders is about 2 inches. And the neck and head is about 2 inches. So that means the upper half of the body is divided into thirds. This is 1/3, this is 1/3, and this is 1/3. One of the things our drawing figure teaches us is you can actually take shapes and construct a human figure. So for instance, right here, I just used 2 ovals to create the head and the neck. And again, right here, I'm going to use 2 ovals to create the shoulders. And I'm just going to use another kind of squarish oval shape to create my chest. I'm going to use another little oval to create my waist. So again, I'm just constructing my figure out of shapes. Now, if I was sketching this, I would just loosely sketch. so that I would be able to erase if I made a mistake. Remember, erasing is not the sign of being a bad artist. It's actually a sign of somebody who's trying to get it right. So again, all I'm doing is taking simple shapes and trying to construct my figure. So obviously, we would use our mannequins to observe and create what we see. And that gets a little bit more fun when you're able to pose them. So again, I'm just taking simple shapes, throwing them out there and making sure that they're hitting a lot of the markers. Right now, I have the upper half of the body. This is the top third. This is the middle third. This is the bottom third. And then as I move my way down to the legs, I'm going to add this part, the upper thighs, the knees, and again, now I've done half of the legs because remember, the knees hit exactly in the middle. And then here's the shins, and finally the feet. And when you're looking at the feet head on, it's really, it's hard to draw that sometimes. So I'm just using simple shapes to show how it works. Obviously, if you're sketching, you'll do a better job. I'm just using these little shape objects to show how it works. So then, once I have my general figure, then I can just start sketching over it. I can start erasing where this line meets that line, and I can start rounding things out with my pencil. I can erase all these harsh separations. I can draw a face. I can draw hair. I can do all kinds of wonderful things. And you can obviously go back to what you learned in the last unit about proportionate faces. And hopefully you will see that drawing a person doesn't have to be so difficult. As long as you use the proportion, use your observational skills when drawing your figure. And again, start out with simple shapes, draw lightly so that you can erase, and you'll find it's not so hard.